Hey, welcome back to the Drink It podcast. I am one of your co-hosts, Zach Stamey from Roosevelt, and I have the one and only Ray Murakawa from Melodrip.
What's up, people? How you guys doing?
We've got an exciting guest on the podcast today, right, Ray?
This guy is amazing, man.
He can
This
do
guy's
anything,
incredible.
apparently. That's what you say.
Yo, I don't know if any kind of product creator maker in the space has kind of hit me as hard as Fused Visions that as this man's company has.
That is a
You know?
bold statement. That is a very bold statement.
It's real. There's a lot of people that come out, make products that look like this, look like that, do this,
Yeah.
do that. But their philosophy or their ideology behind it doesn't really come from a place that's genuine or inventive, you know?
Yeah.
And like when you make products or when you make anything, when you're a creator, it's like what gives your voice, to your product is that idea, like that spark of inspiration that says, you know what, this needs to be in the world because I'm having these kinds of issues or problems, or I just want to see this play out my theories or play out what I think is important or is needed in my whatever niche that you have, right? In coffee, it's always been, kind of like this. A lot of the product companies come from the maker space where they're
Sure.
kind of enthusiasts and they're really passionate about coffee and brewing or whatever it is. And they say, you know what? If we tweak this thing this way, or if we change our approach this way, or tool had this ability that granted us this kind of ability to do something this way, it could probably do something interesting, And now more than ever, it's been really easy to get into making your own products and see about improving other people's products or whatever it is, right? And put your own take on it. And now because of social media, you can kind of broadcast your unique idea and your philosophy and your standpoint, your perspective that's going to make your thing its own.
Yeah.
And in recent times, I haven't seen anyone do it as hard and as passionate
Yeah.
and as genuinely creative as this guy that we got on the podcast.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited, man, because I feel like he has the problem for every coffee solution somewhere in his brain. It might not be out now, but in the next 5 years, watch him, keep an eye on him. And if you're actually like a maker or you have a coffee idea or invention or whatever, you should try to hit this guy up in the DMs and say, hey, what do you think about this? You want to collab on this? Because he's down.
He's down.
And we know. I don't know him that well, but I know him enough that he probably won't jerk you.
Yeah.
Like he has collabed even with us, with other companies, and he's openly able to collab and try to improve workflows and tools that we use for coffee. So this guy is a very, very interesting person that we had to have on the show because he's right here. He's been out here, but he's moving real quick, to a spot that's making us other tool developers kind of think like, hey man, like, we need, he kind of lighting a fire under everyone out here because of how fast he moves and how many products he has.
Yeah.
So
Well, why don't we go ahead and welcome Mehrdad onto the show, and let's start chatting with him.
Hey, Zach.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, Ray.
what's
How
up,
you doing,
Mehrdad?
guys? I'm so sorry about the mix-up.
Oh, you're fine.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. Awesome.
Uh,
Awesome.
by the way, I'm not trying to show off. This is literally, I'm not joking, this is literally the only place left in my apartment where I can actually sit and have a final conversation. I had to put everything over here because, dude, Lance just mentioned us in the video yesterday, and I was like, okay, we're prepared. We should be fine. We already had a bunch of orders coming in, and then we just got bombarded with messages and orders, and my apartment looks like a complete mess. So I tried to find a corner that we can actually use here. So I'm sitting in my kitchen now.
That's super
That's
cool.
crazy. Magic Lance, Magic Lance, man. That's
Mehrdad,
amazing. Congrats, though. Congrats,
That's
though.
awesome.
Yeah, I just hope I don't get judged for this.
I think it's super
No,
cool.
man, we like that. We like that. We actually like seeing that.
We
It
do.
brings a little of your background into the picture, man. Because a lot of people don't know the voice behind Fused Visions. I've met you like just once, and
Yeah,
I
man.
feel like you're someone that everyone needs to know about, especially in the enthusiast space that that our audience is kind of within.
Yeah.
And you're coming up so fast, man. You're like a comet right now. So we got to get you before you're like, maybe I can fit you in next month, you know? So no, we really appreciate you coming on the show,
No,
my man.
no, no, no.
So
So
Absolutely.
no, I really appreciate you guys for having me. Like this is such a huge honor. I actually had I told Ray about this. I had a conversation with Michael the other day, and Michael Floor, so a good friend of mine, and we were just like, we need a podcast where people actually talk openly without the scripts, without it's just like let's just get the ideas out there. It doesn't have to be 100% correct or whatever. It's just let's start a conversation that people enjoy. And the only person that is doing something similar already, trying to support the small creators, is Mickey from I am not a barista, Momentum. And so when you reached out to me, Ray, I was like, oh heck yes, this is exactly what I've been looking for, man. If I can be part of it, absolutely happy to help.
Mehrdad, Ray
you
has
caught
told
us
me.
before we started getting scripted, right, Zach?
Yeah.
Such a good time.
That's right. I think our plan is to always stay unscripted. I think that's exactly what we want to do is just create this kind of conversations. Mehrdad,
Yeah,
Ray has told me so much about you, and he is like your biggest fan. Just so you know, he has said he has
vice
said
versa.
some
It's the same.
yeah, he has said something along the lines of, if there is a coffee problem in the world, he believes you can fix it. He believes that there is not a single coffee problem in the world that you
Oh,
couldn't figure out how to fix. So he thinks the world of you, and we're super stoked to have you because since Ray has kind of made me aware of what you're doing over with Fused Visions, I've been following along, and I just think it's super fascinating because you are just like super active on social media, like always thinking about different things and always thinking through different things. And I think it's super cool because me as a person in the industry as well, like having that level of passion, people can feel it and people know it. And that's really what we want to
yeah.
see with people that are creating products like you are in our day and age. So I'm super stoked to have you on the podcast. But um Mehrdad, we do something on this podcast called the Get It Off Your Chest segment. And in this segment, really, we want to just be open and honest about controversial coffee things and talk about these things openly, even if it might create a little bit of noise online. And so we saw something that you posted on social media that was about roasters, where it seemed like you were saying something along the lines of, all these roasters kind of suck right now. And we don't know if that's really what you mean, and we would love for you to get it off your chest and tell us about that post right now.
So the backstory behind that post and the intention of the post is actually completely different. If you actually go onto Instagram, you're going to see a ton of comments because the way I framed the entire story was just like, yeah, every roaster sucks. Like every roaster is doing it completely wrong. But then I explained the process of what goes into roasting. You know, how you have inconsistency across the heat, the kinds of machines that you need to use, the coffee that you have, the origin that you have, the so much potential, so much passion, so much skill that needs to go into it. So it's not as easy as people think. You don't just put it inside the oven, take it out, and you're done with the roast. That's the entire story behind it. And it was more of a celebration of the roasters across the globe. Because for me personally, I mean, I'm a small business. I'm a small, tiny ant in this industry. It is very important for me to support other businesses as well. And it always starts with the bean. You can have the best grinder in the world. It doesn't make a difference if you're having bad coffee. It's going to taste bad, no matter the distribution across, the particle size and all that. So it's rather a celebration of all the roasters through which we can enjoy amazing coffee. Because without the coffee, I don't think it would be connecting us in the way it
It
is,
would not be.
on a global scale.
Absolutely.
So on that
Absolutely.
post, where did people shout out roasters that actually do suck?
Like those
Yeah,
guys,
I
they are
don't even know.
bad.
I mean, that's what, I'm
I
about to
should
go to
check
that
on that.
post right
I should.
now. Yeah, I want to check that. But
That's
no,
funny.
that's great
I mean,
though.
like I said, that's actually yeah. Sorry. I think it's a good question. I didn't check that. So I called out people and I was like, tag the roasters that you actually enjoy, and I tagged a bunch of them because
Sure.
I mean, I'm in a very unique situation where I get sent a lot of coffee as well, and I can try it and I can share my experience with it, which doesn't mean that if only because I say it's bad coffee that it's going to be bad coffee. It's just it's coffee that I maybe don't enjoy. Maybe I messed it up. Who knows? But I like to share my thoughts and get, conversations started. So yeah, but it's possible that some people took that as a joke and maybe they tagged some bad roasters. No idea.
That's really funny.
But it's true. It is too, though. Like on that point, when you start your coffee journey and you kind of don't know your palate yet, you don't know your preference yet, and you have let's say a roast that wasn't, it's not easy to brew. People, they blame themselves. They hammer on this, on this roast, like, how do I dial this in? Like, how do I get this? Other people are saying this, about, oh, this juicy melon. And then they getting these amazing pink roses. And it's like, I'm
Yeah.
getting like wet sock in like Kellogg's, bro. Like, what happened to this thing? And they beat themselves up. And it's not a great way to learn, right? It's not a great way to learn. So I think that post is great because
No,
you get
no.
at least look at the post and say that, oh, okay, like I live in this region. I've never seen these roasters. Maybe I should try them, So
Yeah.
it's a great thing to have that
Yeah.
conversation. It's important, man, because I know all of us around here, man, we've wasted a lot of money and went through a lot of weird Reddit posts to get funky information about how to make things taste better. And you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's
Well, that was
definitely communication, conversation is the big thing that's going to help us.
Yeah. Well, and that was what Ray and I were talking about before the call too.
Yeah.
There was a box that we were talking about that was a little bit higher price point that we wanted to try, but then at the same time we were like, man, and it's gonna suck if we buy that and it's really, really bad.
Yeah.
And so it is just one of those things where it's a little bit trial and error. But one thing that we found, Ray and I both have just talked about, it feels like over the past really like 5 years, like we've just seen so many, roasters pop up that locally are roasting
Yeah.
really, really good coffee. If not locally immediately, like
Yeah.
locally
Yeah.
even within the United States, where we just have so many great roasters now, where a lot of my favorite roasters are
Yeah.
from the US. It's just a lot of really, really great roasting companies here. So I think that's really interesting. A really funny post. Mehrdad, thanks so much for coming on the show, man. Absolutely. This is really fun. Um,
Thanks for
so
having me.
yes, Mehrdad, products that you make, Fused Visions, you guys are making a bunch of different stuff right now. What are you guys most known for? Can you help the listener to maybe understand a little bit about your company right now and what you guys are really trying to accomplish with Fused Visions?
Um, I mean, the what we are known for the most is not the products, it's rather the community that goes behind it, and the idea of working together instead of against each other, which is what the name in stands for basically. Like Fused Visions, especially that last S is for multiple visions, because I have. And it goes back to a saying that I learned like 20 years ago from my uncle, because he was like, I'm 20 years older than you are, which means I have lived 20 years more on this earth, giving me a lot more experience that you have. So if I teach you something, that means that you are 20 years ahead of me if you accept that learning that I had. Obviously, learning the hard way is completely different than being taught a lesson, going through the mud and all that. But it's just when you take that knowledge and you apply it to something that you are using or that you are making. And in this case, for example, bellows is something that we received as a feedback on the slow feeder that we make. It's just some of the grinders just need it because they have huge retention. Um, I started to make bellows. It's not easy to make bellows, and I didn't realize that there's different layers in the material that is being used to make it squishy and soft and also very hard. So how do I solve that? And that's where the idea behind Fused Visions comes in, because I reached out to Andrew from Introvert Makes, who is like the bellow guy. And I was like, Andrew, I need your help, man. I don't know how to do this. And I know that you have bellows for every single machine out there. So by just doing that and collaborating with him, I can help him out and he can help me out. And the entire idea behind Fused Visions is literally bring people together, bring companies together. Let's talk about innovation. Let's talk about new ideas. Let's not just make another tamper, another leveler, another grinder even that doesn't have any new features, but it's just like, hey, we have bigger burrs now, but it's actually they suck. We're not going to tell you.
Ah!
It's and that's why I love, for
Don't get
example,
me
the
started.
company Buku, because they actually listen to, yeah, dude. Oh, it's the market is overfilled with grinders. I mean, look in the back. There's a reason why I'm using these ones. I'm privileged to actually test these grinders. But when you look at the market and you are getting started as a newbie and you don't know where do I start, you have a small budget. You're just gonna trust what is written on that website. So if they make a promise that I'm not going to get into the naming, but let's say this and that grinder for 300 euros is going to deliver the best kind of espresso. It's just like, yeah, but what is good espresso? Like, how do I know as a newbie what is good espresso? Do I like light roasted espresso? Do I like classic espresso? Like the Italian way? Where do I even start? So that's where I saw the need of us creating products to make the entire workflow, espresso making on filter coffee, way, way easier, more enjoyable, and also just to reach even more people. Because, dude, when I made my first coffee, I was 16. We were in a rush. My mom was like, "Hey, we have guests coming over. Can you make a batch of coffee?" And I was like, "How much coffee do I use? And there's a grinder. What setting do I use? How much water goes in there?" And she was like, "Just make some damn coffee." And I was like, "I don't know how." So that's how it started. That's how I got into the whole game of coffee, and I got way down deep into the rabbit hole. That was, like I said, the long, long, long time ago. That's, I mean, 16. That's 17 years ago. So ever since then, I've been part of this game now, and officially with Fused Visions, it's been 3 years in the industry.
That's awesome. Tell me about that. You have this desire and this goal to bring people together in a collaborative way. It's really interesting because coffee shops
Yeah,
bring people together in a way that's different, in a very communicative, very conversational way. And you're bringing people together in a very different way when it comes to makers in the makers world. When it comes to people that are
yeah,
brewers, like you're helping people to think through ideas together. Like, how did that come about for you? Like,
yeah.
why is that something that you felt was really missing in the industry right now?
Um, so maybe to give you a little bit of a background on me as a person, not just Fuse Visions, but well, I come from a marketing background perspective. So I was very active for 6 7 years within the automotive design industry, and they are struggling with the exact same thing. Just like the cell phone industry is suffering from the same thing. There's no innovation happening anymore. It's just like, hey, we got a better camera, we have a bigger battery, and then the car industry is just the same design, just it's the same motor in a new body, and then where are we going with this? Like, is this just becoming about making money, or is should the goal be let's enjoy better coffee at a reasonable price, with less money spent, and connect more people? Because I mean, that's what the entire idea started on, right? It's the most complicated beverage ever made, together with wine, for example. It's just, if you think about that, and now talking about vibrations and coffee, it's just when you combine different perspectives from different industries. Because I come from the automotive design industry, I don't come from the coffee industry, but that's where I see the need as well. People don't talk to each other. One company is not going to speak to another company because obviously they are scared that their idea could be stolen. And I was like, what if we risk it? What if I just put my ideas out there, and maybe I am not the perfect guy to even make this product. And when we started, I mean, I started making this spirographic WDT back in, that was 4 5 years ago. And then I just, started to use it in the office because we got this fancy espresso machine that nobody was able to use and nobody was able to get a shot out of. I was like, yeah, let's just use this, make it more consistent. And people liked it. My colleagues actually came up to me like, do you sell this? I was like, no, just take it and go. And it took on from there. My wife at some point was just like, "Hey, do you know Etsy? Like, you could actually start to sell this stuff." In the first month, we had 4 sales. In the second month, it was 200 sales. Third month,
Wow.
1,000 sales. It just took off, and I was like, "Oh, there's potential behind it." So I could actually live off this while doing something that I enjoy a lot, and that's how it started. So I think it's very important, just like you guys are doing the podcast right now. New ideas only come together when actually people speak to each other. So yeah, driving innovation, drive people, bringing people together. That's why I'm so passionate about it. So because I believe, and also again going back to the name, the reason we chose visions and not ideas is because an idea lasts for maybe 2 years, 3 years. Now we have the slow feeder. This needs to be pushed. Okay, cool. It works for now, but maybe Lance comes up with a new idea in like 5 years, and it's like self feeding sucks. The new thing is something completely different. So an idea, we don't know how long it's going to last because coffee is evolving as much as anything else on the market. So that's why we call it fused visions, because a vision lasts forever. And if you have a community rather than a following, um, that is such a strong message to send out to the world. And the reason why we don't I mean, I could literally just copy the mellow drip lift from FDM Optical Blitz, for example, which is Raymond. I reached out to Ray and I was like, "Hey, dude, there's copycats from the mellow drip dish. Let me support you. I want to support you guys to bring. I have it on the X Bloom. I was like, why is this not attached to every single coffee machine in the world? Because it gives you so much more control. I was like, we need to work together to bring it to more people. People need to realize that the original is way more. That's where the idea started. That's where people actually put their mind into it, and they can explain why the product looks the way it looks.
Yeah.
A copycat will never be able to do that. So that's why I want to collaborate with these people. And I'm like, when I started to use the Mellow Drip Lift the first time on a V60 or a UFO dripper, I was like, dude, this changes everything. It's not just about the grind size. Now I can actually control the clarity of the copy so much more precisely. And more people need to know about this. So I reached out to Raymond and I was like, hey, I can sell your products, produce them here in Germany, and send it out to European people, because we all know bureaucracy is basically the thing that kills small businesses, next to all the copycats on the market. And this was a way to collaborate together. Fused Visions is not about me. Fused Visions is more about the community, about the partnerships, about the companies coming together. Now, Lance is also supporting us. I know Ray, because of all that. It's just, it's that's what I'm passionate about, talking to people. And now I will stop because I will continue. You guys need to stop me because I'm going to ramble forever.
No, no, we want you to go as long as you want, man. But we do have some questions because there's so much with what you do that I think people have questions about. And I, I, I would really like to know like how many products you've had right now, and like what product are you like most proud of that you feel like, okay, this is the one that we need to kind of look at to say, okay, if our product hits these marks, then it should be go time. Like what product really did that for you?
That is a great question. Um, I actually have to weigh it out because there's two. So the slow feeder I'm most proud of, not because of what it does, but dude, the EG1 is not mine. Everything else here you see is mine, but the EG1 was sent to me by a guy that only bought a WDT from us like a year ago, and he likes what we do, and he's like, "Hey, I want to support you to make you so you can make the adapter." So the level of trust from people to send us hoppers, dimensions, even the grinder to sit here just so we can make products. That's what I'm so proud about, because every single adapter was done together with somebody from the community. So that's why I'm proud of that. I'm very proud of the dose by volume, mostly because what the most frustrating thing that I had when I was starting to dial in espresso was, how much coffee do I actually need to use, and why is this basket more important than the other, or better, or why is it, does it allow for more space? I didn't quite get that. And until I heard, again, Lance and James Hoffman just talk about headspace, how much that actually affects the coffee. That's why I love lever machines in the back. I love hand grinders and lever machines. I'm very old school when it comes to that. I don't think that we need electric grinders if you're not lazy in that sense, or if you're not in a cafe, because how many shots are you going to pull? So the dose by volume tool, I don't have a physical unit right now here, but I'm happy to send you guys. So what it does is it determines the headspace between the coffee and the shower screen, and lets you play with the distance between it, which where we say 1 to 3 millimeters is the best to go with. And that way you dose by the rest remaining volume of the basket. So if you like 20-gram shots or 15-gram shots, you literally have to change the basket that you are using. That is the reason why we have so many variations in the baskets, not just which angle does it have on the bottom, but what depth is it going with. And now we're having the new evolution of step down baskets going from 58 to 49, just because at some point some companies decided that 58 needs to be the standard. But why? So honestly, I'm just trying to answer all the questions that I had when I started out, and I still have questions. I still don't understand, why do we need boilers in coffee machines? This thing, my Lilith Mara X, I'm making amazing coffee with it. It's a very cheap machine, but it has a 2-liter tank, and it's always heating. It's just wasting energy all the time. I don't get it. And these questions are what drive to, or what lead me to new ideas to products, but also they come from the community. So hopefully that answers the question. The dose by volume is definitely something that I'm most proud of, most excited about as well, to get it out in the world. And we are happy to say that it's also the reason why it's going to be the first metal product coming out of Fused Visions by next year, hopefully, if all goes well.
Nice. Nice.
That's so
Congrats,
awesome.
man.
That's so awesome. Just don't pull a Ray and tell us next year and then it be 3 years later. You know
Oh, here we go.
what
No,
Here
no,
we
no, no.
go. I'm working on it now.
I mean?
Dude, tell him, Mehrdad, it ain't that easy. It ain't that easy, man.
Come on, man. I
You
tell you
don't
I'm
know
gonna give
It's
you
not
you
easy.
don't know
Dude,
I
about
just
you
I
gotta
tell you I'm
plan,
gonna give you a
bro.
subscription box and I give it to you next month, you know? It's just gotta be that easy, right?
You know what I'm saying?
It's gotta be that
you
easy, right?
you're putting a lot of pressure on me, Zach. Like, now I'm scared. I really have to push it out next year.
But
Um,
Mehrdad, like for dose by volume, you have to be like an avid enthusiast to say, well, what is this conversation about? Let me put it into practice. Like what was that process when you tried to see if that would benefit more people than just you? Like, did you have to put those theories into motion and just pull 1,000 shots and do your own testing and then say, okay, this is good. You know what I'm saying? Like, I see the benefit, and then I start from here. Like, what is that process for that product?
I risked it all on that product, to be quite honest. Like, I started to make it. I had a couple of conversations together with Aaron from Coffee Gear Lab, and I was like, dude, there's this razor tool by Breville, and nobody's ever heard of it. Like, why are they not marketing it? Because it's not a new idea. The dose by volume tool is not a new idea. It already exists, and that's what it's just why is it not being marketed? To across all the machines. They make some amazing products. They have this puck sucker as well that just sucks out the puck after you're done They have amazing products that people don't realize exist because it's an enclosed ecosystem. So only if you have a Breville machine. And I was like, all right, let's use the razor tool because it is set for their machine, for their portafilter, for their basket, basically in that sense. Actually, it doesn't make any difference which basket you use, but the headspace is set for their shower screen that is being used on their machine. And I was like, if we can make an adaptable system that works across all the machines, that would change everything. Because now dialing in the espresso is much faster. Even if you're just a beginner, you're not going to need more than 2 shots. That's it, 2 shots. Everything is just being dialed in by the grind size. So depending obviously on what kind of a grinder you have and the particle distribution of the coffee and so on and so forth, it's going to vary. But we always promise you're not going to need more than 2 shots to now dial in coffee, which means you're creating a lot less waste. So that's how the idea started, and then we realized the basket can always be a different one. There's no how do I put this? There's no standard in there in that sense. It's just the size, but there's no consistency across it. So the only consistency that we have is literally the shower screen. So that's what we use. And I said, if we have something that with which you can determine the shower screen and keep it consistent at all times, and it becomes part of your workflow, this way you can actually test every single time you grind a coffee, even with aging coffee. With time, you're gonna have to add 0.1, 0.2, 0.3 grams of coffee to it to create that resistance and get the best out of the coffee. And I wanted my personal goal with the products that we also make, but also with some new ideas that we are working on, is how far can we push coffee? Like, where, because we are just scratching the surface, even when it comes to roasting, even when it comes to grinding, all of that. It's just how far can we actually push coffee? With the mellow drip, for example, it completely changed the way I'm brewing. Now I'm making this stand where I'm looking at how much water is going in, how much water is actually going out, how much is the grind size actually affecting that, and do I need to stir? How much does stirring actually affect the flow of the water? Chilling balls and all, everything. Like, the ideas, the better vessel is an idea that came from Michael Harris. I tried that, removed the crema, realized it works on some coffees, it doesn't work on other coffees. Sometimes you want the crema, sometimes you don't. So yeah, I literally risked it all. I made the product, put it out in the world, and I was just like, I'm just going to go with this. I tried it, it works for me. Let us get feedback. If it works for other people as well, we're just going to make a metal product out of it. And now we have so much feedback that we are actually changing the way it is being used. And if you see on my shirt, it says not the user. It's just a reminder for myself. I actually put this on just for the podcast, just to show it. Because as a creator, it's very important that you should not forget you are not the user, you're the maker. You only have an idea. That does not mean it's a good idea. I need the feedback from the user. It's actually right there on the back as well. So yeah, I really care about
I
that a
like
lot.
that.
The user needs to give us feedback. We need to listen to the feedback. We need to not take it personal. And I'm not the product. This is just one of the biggest problems with makers. I am not the product. It's my idea. Yes, it may be somebody else's idea even. But as a community, getting that feedback, accepting it, and then implementing it in the product is what I think the most helpful way to actually innovate on the product itself.
Mehrdad, I love how you're talking about all of that because what's really interesting, I think there's been some people of the past that were coffee people that asserted themselves as the voice of truth in a lot of ways, as in we are the ones that know exactly what's right and you guys should listen to us. But the way that you're presenting your ideas and some of the things that you're doing is from a posture of humility that I think is just really, really wonderful and really needed with how you're doing that because I think you're absolutely
Appreciate it.
right. Yeah, you're absolutely right in a lot of ways. Like if Jean reminds me all the time, like if people are asking for certain things in our box, like, yes, we have an identity and we keep to that identity. And at the same time,
Yeah.
there's a reason that those people are buying from us. And if we're not also
Yeah.
giving to the people that are buying from us, we don't have people to provide a product for in the first place. And so I think what you're saying is a
Yeah.
really, really needed mentality. It's really refreshing how you're talking about all that. Um, Mehrdad, what is a
It's
product
quite
that you
challenging.
yeah. What is a problem that you can't solve? It seems like you're able to think through so many things. Like, what is
Oh,
something right now that you find is like really challenging that you're trying to figure out, but you're just maybe not quite there yet?
oh, that's a difficult one. Copycats are my biggest issue in this industry.
Okay.
It's a problem that I'm not even joking. I'm
Yeah,
being very
yeah, yeah.
serious now. Copycats are my biggest issue, and I'm not talking about copying my products. It's gonna happen. It's part of the industry. It's the way it is. It's the way it goes. It's. I mean, it's a small industry in that sense. It's there's not gonna be. You're not gonna be a millionaire making products in this industry. But the mentality of having and saying, I made this product, and it works for that kind of. Let's say I made the slow feeder, and then now some brand. I'm not gonna name call them here. They come in, they see the product, and they're like, oh, that's awesome. Like it's selling really well. Let's just copy it one to one. Now, I want to make it clear what I mean by copy. Since I'm coming from the automotive design industry, I'm just going to use an example there. The car is a concept. It transports people from point A to point B. The way it transports people is way different when you get into a BMW or a Mercedes or a Bugatti or a Ferrari. It's way different. It's a different engine. It has different tires. It has different technology built in. That's not copying. That is where branding comes in. That is where technology comes in. That is where Formula One comes in with all their innovation. It's the same way in the coffee industry. If I am making for example, I don't know, some kind of grinder and has some new kinds of burrs that pre-break the beans completely differently, and I don't know, they have 500 different stages of breaking the bean, and it works, and it's something completely new. I assure you, it's not going to take more than 2 weeks until it's copied and it's being distributed across the globe. That's different than saying, all right, the grinder is a great concept. It makes sense. We need to make the coffee smaller and then extract the coffee out of it. That's an idea. That's where we need the idea of different grinders. That's why, for example, I love the Vario VS6 because you have the possibility to go between conical bursts and flat bursts instantly. Brilliant. That is innovation to me. I love the key. It makes amazing coffee. It's way different in the way it is being used. I love the ZP6 because it makes amazing espresso, amazing filter coffee because of the burr geometry. But copying that exact burr geometry is something different than saying the external adjustments. We like that. It's innovative, but let's implement it across all the. It's like the seatbelt in the car. Volvo made it, and they just made it open without any patents because they were like, hey, we're saving lives with this. Let's make it open to the rest of the world as well, so other car manufacturers can use it as well. And it's the same here in the coffee industry. Let us have competition. Absolutely, we need more. We need 1,000 different ways of slow feeding. just as a hint, we're already working on the next models. We already know, and I've been very open about this. Like everybody that is getting the V3 knows that there's going to be a V4 and also a V5 if we are successful with it. Why? Because slow feeding bean by bean is not the end game solution of a slow feeder. Not going to say more about that, but that's where ideas come in, and that I hope that answers the question because I could ramble on about this. I hate copycats. Let's just make it clear. I hate copycats.
I think we have our own thoughts on copycats as well, and I would say it's not a positive thing. Ray, do you have anything you want to say about any copycats? You want to call somebody out? You want to call
Nah,
anybody out,
because
Ray?
I'm not selling through like thousands a month, so I don't need to worry about that. But of course, man, it's just like in the community of people who make things, especially like when it's this niche and this small, and you see new products come out, like
Yeah,
it's like man, it's kind of like there's a million rappers out there, and it's like the ones that like if you're in the culture and you hear what these people are saying, they transmit a certain kind of energy and a vibe that it comes from a genuine place. So when you
yeah,
make
yeah,
products, it's the same thing. Whether
yeah,
you make a slow feeder, when they make slow feeder, this guy makes shower head, this guy make, what I'm saying? Whatever it is, when you see it and you can see the design and you hear about why it exists and why it needed to exist, you can spot a fake of the
yeah.
creator, regardless of how similar a product looks. So
Always.
like the thing that makes products
Yeah,
exciting is like not only innovation, but even if it's similar and it's slightly more innovative, the way that they, you know, past all the marketing BS, is like the way that they kind of approach the solution that they're trying to solve. If that perspective is genuine, you could sense it. And I think the coffee community right now, like we're so in
yeah,
tune to technology innovation. We all brew at a very high level, mid level, low level. Like there's so many, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't think I brew higher than X, Y, and Z person. We're all kind of doing our own thing at a very
yeah,
high level in this enthusiast game. We're talking about that 1% of extraction all the time, and it's real. And so many people in the community operating there that
yeah,
we don't have space for someone to come in and talk about 2 years ago idea, last year's ago idea, last year's ago's design. It's like that's
yeah,
not something that's going to benefit any of us because we're not big enough to
yeah,
have commodity tools out here, man. We need that innovation. We need things that are just going to
yeah,
always
yeah,
represent excellence at the highest level because that's the coffee that we should be drinking, that we should be exposing ourselves to, that have
yeah,
a serious intention of excellence forward, excellence first, and that should transmit through everything that you do, whether it be products or services, whatever it is, and that is the kind of the baseline standard of specialty that all of us should follow, not just
yeah,
taking something to make money or to make to see if you can get a piece of that
yeah,
pie. It's not
yeah,
about that.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my little ramble,
no.
but
Yeah.
And it's I no, I get that. I get that. I actually have something to add to that. It's but the most thing that I am scared of when it comes to copycats, it's not the copies, the products being copied, but the innovation and ideas that are now being killed because smaller creators at some point will just give up. At some point, they're just going to be like, why should I bother? Because if I'm just going to put it out there, yeah, I'm going to be the first one, but nobody's going to remember that name. Nobody's going to remember who made it because some big company is just going to jump in, steal the idea, make it profitable, and now you need to kind of prove that you are the first to make it. It's just like, why that's where ideas at some point will just die off. So whenever I see, not even my products, whenever I see somebody stealing another idea or like again one-to-one copies, that's where I just call them out. That's what I used to do. Now I'm fighting the fight in a completely different way. I spoke to Mickey about it with the momentum grinder being stolen. I spoke to Squeaky about, the I don't know what the product is called, but I think you know which one I mean, being stolen by another company. It's just why does that have to happen? Why can't we just support each other? And they could have reached out. They could have just collaborated together because there's a reason why some of the companies exist. For example, we our biggest issue right now is shipping to Asia, especially my home country, is just not possible. And it's a community that is growing around coffee. And I would love to ship my products over there, but it's just not physically possible because of the prices with the income that the guys have over there. And I can't lower the prices because of the income that we have here in Germany. So I need to sustain the business somehow as well. So now I'm talking to local manufacturers just to lower the cost of production so we can actually offer the products over there. But what I'm trying to say is there's a reason why some of the companies exist and they literally copy one to one. I'm not saying it's the right reason. I'm just saying that maybe there is a reason for them to exist in those countries because they can actually produce on site and sell them at a price that people can now, pay for and also enjoy coffee. But in my way, I think it would make more sense because if the manufacturing already exists, why not reach out to the manufacturers and just do it yourself? Because you can produce in that country and sell it at a lower price, still be sustainable with it. That's what I'm trying to do because we get tons of messages from Iran now. I just sent a package with the help of my mom that was traveling over there, just to show that these products exist, but not just to tease the guys and be like, "Haha, we're not going to sell that." No, it's because we're trying to enter the market. We're trying to reach more people, and just to show them invest in the original thing, guys, because at some point the ideas will die off. At some point, we're not going to be able to fight the fight again at all anymore. That's again, it goes back to Fused
Yeah.
Visions. Bring all these people together. Why should I copy Ray? Why should I copy the Mellow Drip Lift if I can bring the original over here? And now he's got a new community that he can reach. He's got new people that he can reach. Same with me. I have a partner, a US production partner in Australia, in the US, in India, Japan again coming soon as well. We do that so we can bring the product, especially with the tariff situation, for example, which is so yeah, I totally going back to the topic of metal production. It's not easy, Zach. I totally get Ray. So just to back him again a little bit, um, it's a huge, 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 huge milestone to achieve just to be able to have metal production and then just ship it. So it's not just like, hey, we're going to use a better material, and some quality control is part of it, communication is part of it, different work ethics and also cultures are part of it. So yeah, it goes back and back. Again,
Yeah.
stop me, guys. I'm going to ramble forever.
No, you're good.
Well, I want to add
lo-
one thing for people who are out there who are making products right now and feeling depressed by this situation. It's a double-edged sword. The way I always look at it, like people, when I first started, people were like, "Yo, you ain't got no
Yeah.
patents on this. You gotta do this." And one, from my perspective, like if I had $500,000 to defend my patent, then maybe. But I'm not even selling that, and I would not. I would spend $500,000 on creating like 20 new products than trying to defend some old thing. But
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
other side of it is that we as
Yeah.
creators already understand that. Like we threw ourselves into this world and this kind of lifestyle because we want to battle that. It's our responsibility to keep creating that
Yeah.
next thing. We can't just dwell in on something that happened, 5 years ago and say, "Hey, this is a hit. Let's just keep moving with this." It's like, no, it's like this life is about seeing the landscape, seeing the market, seeing where everything's happening. What are you doing with your own life that you're kind of innovating at and
Yeah.
and keeping your standard kind of above what's out in the market, maintaining that and then creating products from the future. Like that's because everything that we drop comes from like
Yeah.
a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Like I got all this wild bullshit back here because I'm brewing
Yeah.
5 years ahead of everyone on freaking espresso form. You know what I'm saying? It's like we have to do crazy shit all day
Yeah.
because we filter out things that are probably usable and then things that probably make sense and that
Yeah.
that actually impact flavor and workflow and all this stuff, and then after like a year or whatever, 2 years, you're like, okay, maybe this one works, and then you spend another year or whatever R&D, and it's like,
Yeah.
trust me, it's like if you call yourself a maker or you want to be innovative, it's like you stepping into a game of a million copycats, but it's your responsibility to stay ahead of the game, as far ahead of the game as possible, so you have the luxury of timing.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't, but it's part of it. We're always going to deal with copycats, but
Yeah.
we have to be
Yeah.
that much further in order to,
Yeah.
release something exciting for the people.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot of really, really good stuff from all of that because Mehrdad, you had mentioned earlier that a vision lasts for much longer than an idea does, right? Like an idea is only for
Yeah.
a bit, and a vision goes much further. And I love that. And I love what you're talking about with both of you guys there, because with the mellow drip, it is an idea, and it has carried a vision, and that's much more important
Yeah.
than protecting that one particular idea. So, Mehrdad, I guess the question that I have for you in terms of fused visions, we have a vision for something long term. We're trying to figure out, or you guys are trying to figure out how you can get in certain places to be able to produce different products to get in those certain markets. Where do you guys see Fused Vision going from here? Like, where do you see yourself in the future, and how do you see yourself situated in the coffee community?
Oh, that's a really difficult question to answer. Um, my vision is literally sending out the message, sending out the out because we're gonna be copied. We're gonna lose a lot of the a lot of the market share. Not most of the problems, most of the products that we make may not even end up being made. We may lose a ton of money just by investing into the metal production of some parts. There's a huge risk that goes behind it, but my vision is literally create the biggest community on that's a huge, I know it's a big goal, but hopefully I can make it. Because I'm not the person to people reach out to me, they ask for recipes, they ask me which grinder should I use and all that. I'm like, I'm just a normal guy, and I'm just playing around, dude. Like, don't ask me. Go to Lance. Go to James. Go to other guys.
Yeah.
I can give you my opinion, but it's not fact. You have other people going into this very, very scientifically, and we try to be, but we don't have the means to do it. I mean, it's just fact. So we rely on the information of other people. So when it comes to that, my vision is literally creating the biggest community that there is. So people start to talk to each other in a completely different way than they do, for example, on Reddit. Just because you think you are right about something doesn't mean that you are, because coffee is evolving, everything is changing, and I'm sure that everything that I'm saying in this podcast will be taken, and they're going to change the words and whatever. Let them do it. Let them have fun. That's exactly the kinds of people that I get the message. The message is, let's work together instead of against each other. And I think it's a very strong message, a very strong vision that I want to send out into the world. And I'm trying to work with as many people and as many companies as possible. Not because I want the market share. That's not it. But because some companies, even if I have an idea, for example, for a new product, like I said in the beginning, maybe I'm not the guy that should be producing this, so maybe I can give that idea to some other company because they have the means for it.
Which product have you used that has a lot of hype and you were like, this ain't it, man? It just didn't work for you. It's not even talking trash
Levelers,
because you know what?
levelers, absolute waste.
Levelers? See, I don't
Levelers,
do
why
espresso.
do you need a leveler?
No, people are gonna say, "Oh, what do you use in place of it?" Or is it, you're saying it's useless? Don't even level.
It's useless. No, why? Why do you need it? We have self-leveling tampers today, right? So the levelers made sense when we were using a manual tamper because it already levels the top part of the coffee for you. Now you can place the manual tamper inside it, and it helps you to tamp very straight. But with today's tampers, every single one of them literally is just self-leveling. So why do we need levelers? There is one reason for them to exist, though. For example, if you are using a shaker, and after you've done your shaking motion, and you let the coffee drop into the portafilter, no matter how well you do it, that's why we have this little adapter that extends the height to 5 centimeters in distance between the shaker and the portafilter. That helps with the distribution of the coffee. But what's always going to happen is there's going to be a tiny little bit of a hill. The rest of the coffee is perfectly distributed. You don't need to do anything about it. The first 1 to 3 millimeters is what we like to say. That's where you need to level a little bit, but that's where the WDT then comes in. So you could do it with a leveler, you could do it with a WDT. I think it needs a new kind of product that does both somehow, only for the top portion, if you really want to get into the nitty gritty. So if somebody wants to make that, go ahead, have fun. I've tried it; it's not easy. I'm still working on it, but I don't think that levelers are even necessary in today's age anymore. So use a self leveling. If you're doing WDT or shaking anyway, you're not going to need it. Just tramp through it, like tamp through it easily.
Yeah. Well, Mehrdad, it's been awesome having you on the show. It really has. You are such an interesting guy, and I think we could definitely plan to have you back on as long as you'll bless us with your presence once again, because you were so fun to talk to, and
Oh,
uh,
that's such an honor. Thank
yeah,
you guys so much.
absolutely, absolutely.
You don't want
Um,
to make it a 2-hour show, Zach?
we could go for 2 hours. We definitely could. We definitely could. And as long as
No, he got
Mehrdad keeps talking, as long as I don't talk so much, then maybe the listener would actually listen for 2 hours.
he
But
got he got
uh,
like 1,000 labels in the other room ready to ship. So I'm not even trying to go there, man. We gotta respect his time, man.
absolutely,
You know?
we do have a segment that we sometimes do. We're infrequent with it, but we do a segment that's a rapid fire segment called the spit it out your mouth, as in, like, you're cupping and then you spit it
Oh
out your
wow.
mouth.
Okay.
Yes. So we're gonna ask you a question,
Yeah.
and you give
Okay.
us the first thing that comes to your mind. Are you cool with that?
Okay. Bring it. I'll do my best.
All right. Ray, you want to ask that first question?
Burr size. Is it hype or real?
No, that's a difficult question, guys. Mostly hype. Mostly.
Mostly real.
Mostly hype.
Mostly hype.
I got you.
No, mostly hype. I think the 80 millimeters is like the sweet spot. Perfect. Done.
Wow. Wow.
Wait, can you all right, let's say 80 mil geometry and then the same geometry at 102. Is that hype?
Filter espresso.
Both. Which one?
Hype. I'm gonna go with hype. I'm gonna go with hype. I'm just
Let's
gonna go
go.
with
I
hype.
like you. I like you. I like you.
Do we need another V60?
No.
No, absolutely not.
If
I
something
gotta
works, don't break it. Don't break the design.
ask this one, Ray. Ultralight roast. Hate them or love them?
Ultralight roast?
Ultralight.
I'm not sure if I've ever really tried ultralight.
Yo,
I
you
love
getting
light
you
roast,
getting a
but
package,
ultra,
man. You
I
getting a
don't think
package
I've
from
tried
Zach.
it. So,
We'll send you a package. We'll send you a package.
Because yo,
oh,
we're
dude,
out here.
I'm intrigued. Like that, yeah.
Yo, no, I'm
Like
surprised,
Picky
man.
Chemist? You ever had Picky Chemist? Picky
Come
Chemist
again?
does some Picky Chemist?
The picky chemist.
Picky chemist. Okay. Yeah,
Have you
I
had?
don't think I've ever tried it. I
Yo,
don't
we
think I've
about
ever
to
tried
get you.
Okay.
ultralight roast. I would love to.
We about to grasslight you, bro. We about to send you some hay,
Gonna get some corn.
Green Giant
About to
in the
get some.
box.
I hope you like some corn. Hope you like some corn tea. Ray, you asked the last one.
Okay, top roaster right now, local and international. Top
Van
one.
Gulpen. For me personally, top one for me is Van Gulpen at the moment.
Who is it?
They have literally Van Gulpen. So they work together with Kaffeemacher, for example, as well. Kaffeemacher is huge here in Germany, or just the DACH region. They roast some coffees for Kaffeemacher as well, which basically puts them together. So in that way, Van Gulpen. Shout out to Jörn, my good friend of mine as well. Now at this stage, I just had a conversation with him 4 weeks ago. Bought like 25 different coffees from them, and honestly, every single one of them 5 out of 5. It's insane how amazing these guys do, especially when it comes to filter coffee. I hope that he's happy that I'm mentioning him, because he actually, once he saw the picture, he was like, "Don't be too hard on us," and I was like, "Oh no, I'm gonna be honest about this." But it's amazing. Not a single coffee was even a little bad. I've been enjoying that. So on a global scale, no idea. I haven't tried enough to really say that. But in the DACH region, for sure, Van Gulpen and Kaffeemacher. I'll send you a link.
That sounds good. That sounds great. That's awesome. Mehrdad, it has been such a pleasure. Ray, do you have any closing thoughts?
Is the co-ferment era over?
Uh-oh.
I don't think so. There's still some people that enjoy it. I never did, to be honest.
never
But
did
I mean,
either.
you do
I never
you.
did
If you
either.
like it,
Yeah,
yeah,
I never did either. I'm glad that some
go
people
for it.
finally have seen.
I-
I'm glad that some people have finally seen the light.
Wait, which light
Yeah.
though? What
Which
colored
light?
light? What you talking
Let's
about?
Not the ultralight, not the grass light, not the.
Hey. Oh my gosh, Dad. You gotta explain
I mean,
yourself in another
let's
episode,
maybe
bro.
put it this way.
Huh.
Simple. I like drinking coffee. Anything above that is that's not coffee to me.
Yeah.
If it's
Yeah.
co-fermented, it's I don't know. It takes away from the coffee bean itself. Adding some, it's just not the same to me. But like I
Yeah.
said, you do you. If you enjoy it, go ahead.
Oh yeah, for sure. For
Yeah.
sure. A lot of
I think
people
it's I
enjoy
think it
that.
has its place. I don't think it's gonna disappear, but I do think it's so interesting how, so many of those things have just, um, came and gone in the sense that they were just it felt like they were everywhere, now they're nowhere. You can find them somewhere, but,
Yeah.
um,
I appreciate the
so
thought though. I mean, that's again somebody that tried something and it didn't work out. It did work out, whatever it is. It's always good to see new ideas, even if they suck. We don't know that they suck until the majority of people say it sucks, right? So with the
until we
better vessel,
fuse
for
the
example,
vision,
removing the crema, people will yeah, exactly.
until we
But
fuse the vision.
the better vessel, at the beginning when I saw it, I was like, no. I mean, it makes sense. Yeah, the bitter notes are in the crema. You want to remove it, but not for every coffee. And then I tried it. I have had not a single coffee, an espresso that is, obviously. I have not had all the beans that I'm using. I have not had a single shot of espresso without using the vessel now. And funny enough, my wife hates espresso. Very difficult to say this as somebody that makes products in the filter coffee world, but ever since we got the best of vessel, dude, we have been drinking coffee nonstop, and including her. It's just
Crazy.
insane how much it changes the taste of it. Like yeah, you guys need to try it. Let me talk to Michael and see if we can send you some units. You will love it.
I have one question, man. I have another question. I went to a cafe.
Yeah.
This is a little long, but just give me a minute. I went to a cafe, um, relatively small, local cafe out in LA, and then I ordered an espresso, and it was very similar to how I do a soup shot, but it was like a ristretto. It was like a like not
Hmm.
a espresso, a ristretto. It was like a 2 to 1, and very short, small thing. And I was like, oh, it's gonna be some old school, goopy, nasty thing. And I sit there and I'm like, wow, this is kind of light and bright, transparent, light bodied, high acidity. Um, but the acidity was pulled really well and it wasn't out of control. And I was like, and I look over at the counter and there's a $30,000 La Marzocco sitting there. All right. And I'm just like, bro, I could have shot something out of my OXO Rapid Brewer that's maybe like that's maybe like 10% different, but it costs like 1,000 times less. So, Mehrdad, do we need 30G Rolls-Royce type shit sitting on the bar in the future? Or can we be out here? I see you holding something up. Can we be out here with like 3 meticulouses on the wall, or like 3 fellow joints, or like you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, it's because look, I wasn't surrounded by people here. It wasn't like 16 people in line all day. It was
Yeah.
like I was sitting next to 3 people, and they got this
Yeah.
insane 3 group, and yo, I was there at 11 a.m. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it wasn't super peak, but look, man, you could have given me that shot for real cheaper. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
What is that thing you just held up,
Yeah.
man?
Yeah.
What do you think
Um,
about that? Like, do we need the insane Rolls Royce sitting on the thing?
No, it's actually something that I preach. I don't like I said. That's why I mentioned I'm using a Lilith Mara XV2, which is like a standard. It's a starting point. It has PID. It is very stable. Yes, you have to wait 2.5 to 3 minutes between the shots to stabilize itself in the temperature. But then again, temperature. I'm not gonna get into that. You don't need to spend a whole lot of money. I'm getting better shots, and people are going to hate me for this. I'm getting better shots on this than most people are getting on their La Marzocos, because it's not the machine, guys. It's
Go.
the people that are making the coffee. It's the experience, the understanding but behind the process of it. So what this is it's my favorite product out of the entire year, coming from Sarah Plus and iCape together. It has a heater built in with 70, 80 milliliters of water storage in there. It has a bottomless basket on the bottom. just like so.
Crazy.
So I can prepare my coffee just as always. It creates enough pressure. It heats up the water to a certain temperature. I can do pre-infusion on it, and it costs. It's USB-C rechargeable. It costs $200 and comes with a tamper, a puck screen, the basket, the machine, everything included. So I'm making, and look at this. This is my entire station for it. You have I don't know if you guys can see it. The machine, you have a cup, and you have a scale beneath it. It comes with that cup as well, so you can just travel with it. So, um, if you guys are interested, Lance, I was so happy with this product that I was like, dude, Lance, you got to try this. Sent him 2 units through iCage, and he loved it so much that he also made a video on it. Is it going to replace my Lilith? No, absolutely not. It has its own flaws. Obviously, it's not going to be as consistent if I want to pull, especially when it comes to the usability. But that's not what it's made for. This is supposed to be a travel friendly. Imagine that together with a hand grinder. That's how I travel at the moment. And there's enough storage on the top to actually store the coffee inside it as well. So
Crazy.
I don't think that you need to spend a whole lot of money on gear in general. Ever. Do you need an EG1, for example, just to have 80 millimeter bars? There's the P80 now. There's the what's it called? The Moto 80, I think, coming from Buku, which has new tech built in. So coffee is evolving really, really, really quickly now, and grinders are getting better and better. And you don't need an electrified grinder. So that's why you can't see it. I have the Hope ones in the background because I love that. I love hand grinders, but it's cumbersome. If I have guests over, I don't want to use the J Ultra with my by hand. So I put it on the stand. It just does everything automatically for me. It's more consistent. Absolutely. The motor helps, definitely. But you don't need to spend a ton of money to get amazing coffee, filter or espresso. It doesn't matter either way. I mean, if you want to get started with coffee, start with filter coffee. You're going to enjoy it a lot more because it's way simpler to do repeatedly. And it's the starting point is way cheaper to get into. V60 costs you 25 euros. All you need is, you don't need a carafe. You just use a mug underneath it. You don't need a stand. Just place it onto the mug. Get a mellow drip, definitely do it. Get it with the lift together or with the handle, doesn't really matter. You're gonna get way better coffee with that, and then invest into a good grinder. So, no, I don't think that you need huge, expensive machines. What I'm happy about, I backed the Meticulous 3 years ago when it came out. Like on the day it came out, I was like, oh, that is exactly what I've been waiting for. Yes, the Decent exists. It does very similar things. It is a different form factor, but the Meticulous, what I like about it is doesn't have a heater. It heats up only the water that you need. It does it super quickly. If you already have a kettle, you already have preheated water. It doesn't have a shower, as in, there's no headspace involved because it uses the piston inside it. So that's where I see innovation. That's where I want to that's where I want to see the industry moving forward. And I get it though. All these machines were made with the idea of, what if we have 100 customers and we need to be quick about it? Yes, for a cafe setting, it makes sense to obviously have the big machines. But at home, what the manufacturers did was they took what they already had, made it a little bit smaller, and then sold it. To put it in simple words, obviously there's a lot more going on in the background, but that's what they did. But Meticulous is the first brand, in my opinion. I don't know if there's another one in the out in the world. They looked at the machines and they said, this doesn't make sense. We don't need a boiler. That doesn't make sense. Why is there not a scale already included? Why is there not a station that gets delivered with it? Why can't you, dude, just Ray is over there. I'm here in Germany. What I can do is just, Ray, I love this coffee. This is my profile. I'm just going to, I sound like I'm making an ad now for Meticulous, but I love that thing. If it actually delivers on what it is promising, dude,
Yeah.
I'm not going to get a single other machine ever made anymore, because I don't see how you can actually improve that thing. I haven't found a way yet.
Wow.
That's
And that
fantastic, man.
comes
That's the one I'm
that
waiting
means a
for
lot
too.
because I improve every single product on the market.
One more question. Which is greater, filter or espresso?
No, I'm not gonna start a war here.
Start them.
Okay, start them. Why not both? If so, is the question, if I really have to choose between either of them, which one would I go with?
Yep,
Sure.
you got your little thing right there, the handheld thing,
Espresso.
or V60. You got, and
Yeah,
you're going to a desert island. Well, which one are you taking, man? Of course, a desert island with a bunch of
espresso.
geisha crops.
Espresso. I love
Espresso?
flat whites. Yeah,
Ooh, no milk
espresso. I
though. No
gotta say
milk
espresso.
though.
Not because filter. I love. No.
No
Okay.
milk though. That's
No milk.
cheating. That you
Filter.
got no cows on the island. It's just straight up.
No. I actually okay. Straight up, I still enjoy espresso, but
Mm,
oh, that's it's so close. It's so close. Like
that's
filter
your
and
answer, man. That's
espresso, I
great.
love both of them. But when it comes to versatility, absolute, yeah, yeah. I would, if it's really just espresso and filter, definitely filter, just because um it's easier to make. It's more repeatable. The process of it is just more enjoyable, and the flavors you get out of the filter coffee is just insane. Whereas with espresso, yeah, it can taste great, but it's not the same. With this, I need espresso mostly because I mean, I like I said, I enjoy espresso, but I just love flat whites with oat milk. It's
Dang,
just
nice.
it's my jam. I need 3 to 4 of them every day, otherwise I can't function.
Oh my goodness.
It's fused vision
Mehrdad,
across the board, man. They gotta exist at the same.
that's
They
right.
both
That's
gotta
right.
exist, right? I get it, man. I
Exactly.
That's
get
right.
it.
Mehrdad, it's been such a pleasure. Thanks so much for coming on the show, man.
Oh, thanks so much for having me, guys. Like, continue, and please do tell me if I can support you guys in any way possible. I love what you guys do. Seeing you both together, that's it's just it's such a strong team. So I can't wait to see more episodes coming out. And yeah, man, thanks so much for having me. It's such an honor.
Thank you.